at the White Trail to do a nature hike. Do you guys want to come with? Come on. So the first plant we're going to look at is actually right under the White Trail sign. It's down here. This is called a skunk cabbage, and as you can tell, our skunk cabbage is loved by a lot of the animals and bugs and creatures around camp. And that's because not only is it a good tasty food for animals, it's also full of water because, if you can see, we are by a really big source of water, which means all the roots and the leaves suck up all that water, and it's a beautiful meal for all our animal friends. Let's see what else we can find. Our next plant is a spice bush plant. So this spice bush plant gets its name because it smells like a bunch of different spices. Sometimes people think it's lemon, sometimes lime, sometimes Fruit Loops, sometimes tomatoes. It's a variety of smells. This one smells like Fruit Loops to me. Let's see if we can't find any other plants. Our next plant is a fern. And if you've been watching a lot of the Gretna Glen Live Instagrams on Friday, you might see that the fern has been talked about a lot on there. But I really love ferns because they take up the space that they're in, and they really just like spread out, and they're beautiful. They're as old as dinosaurs is what I hear. Ooh. Let's see some other plants. Our next plant is a pawpaw tree. If you are familiar with the Jungle Book, you might have heard a song about a pawpaw. This is that plant. Now later in the summer they'll start to grow little fruits that kind of smell and taste like plums or pears or a mix between the two. But if you eat them or smell them too early, they smell like peppers. But the cool thing about pawpaws is you can see there's some down there. A few big ones here, they're all over. They even go across the trail. And all of these pawpaws are actually one big tree, which is kind of cool. They all share one big root system, which means they're the same plant. How cool. Let's see some other plants. The next plant we're at is actually a big tree. You guys can see this is a blue beech tree, and a beech tree is spelled B-E-E-C-H. Not like a beach, like with sand and water and whatnot, not a B-E-A-C-H, but a beech. And I remember it because it has smooth bark, and just how, like the beach has smooth sand, a beech tree has smooth bark. So if you ever see a tree with super smooth bark, it's a safe bet that it's a beech. The next plant that we're going to look at is actually growing right down here along the lake. This right here is called jewelweed, and jewelweed actually grows really close to water and really close to poison ivy. So if you ever see it, you should be careful as to what you're picking around. But it gets its name because the front is, you know, normal like a leaf. It's like a normal everyday weed. But at the back, when you put it in water, it looks like tinfoil, kind of shines just like a jewel. Hence the name, jewelweed. So we're going to throw it in the water, see if we can't see any shine as it goes down. Oh, it didn't go down. That's okay. Let's see if we can't find some other plants. The next plant we're under is another tree. This tree right here is actually across the little river that we have. This tree is called a tulip poplar. Now tulip poplars are pretty easy to identify because their leaves kind of look like cat faces. So if you turn it upside down, see you got 2 whiskers and 2 ears, just like a cat. That's what identifies like a poplar tree. For a tulip poplar, we know it's a tulip poplar because they usually have little yellow tulip buds that fall down and scatter the ground in yellowness and beautiful tulip poplar trees. Let's see if we can't find one more plant. This plant right here is called our common mullen. And common mullen is pretty cool because not only do we get to see it grow all the way along our pond this year, which is, you know, a pretty cool, exciting thing, but also I hear that if you dry out the leaves and burn them in your campfires, kind of like sage, they keep bugs away. So that's a pretty cool use for the common mullen. Thank you guys for coming on this nature walk with me. I hope you got to see some cool plants. And you might, you never know, have some of these plants in your own backyard or in your neighborhood or in your local gardens, wherever you find nature.